Is that why you turn the light on so that it would be not in the video and she would think it was live, or what we would think it was live? That just
Well, sorry that Bob couldn't be here tonight, but we just watched the video, so what do you guys think? I definitely took Bob's advice to be more passionate, so I'm sorry that he couldn't be here, but
passion was definitely there. Pulling you off of your feet.
Right.
was not speaking like this.
No. You weren't in the other one though. In the last one, he wasn't speaking like that.
That's true.
You still have a lot of nervous tics. I would swear you had nose problems because you're constantly rubbing at your nose. Just gonna say.
So
something to focus on. You keep your hands busy. So
have something else in his hands to keep them busy.
Yeah, maybe a pen or something.
Yeah.
Well, that could be dangerous too if he keeps going to his nose. He has a pen in his hand.
Get ink all over me.
Some people, you don't really wear a watch anymore because you don't need to, but I know sometimes people, I've seen speakers when they have watches and you can tell they keep moving the watch and playing with the watch. So maybe start wearing a watch again when you're having a speech.
Well, I'm going to guess that when you do your preaching or whatever, you don't have a piece of paper.
I do.
Okay.
I do, yeah.
But when you, like, if you were going to preach with, like, a lectern or something, it would be on there. So
Well, yeah.
both hands would
Right.
be free.
Both hands are free.
I only bring that up because that would be, it's hard. You have one hand that's free now. One hand is holding the paper, and the other hand you're like, what am I going to do with this hand? You can't do your watch or do your, because the other hand is busy.
Right.
So,
yeah, I always prefer to have like a pulpit or some sort of a thing that I can sort of hold on to so that I don't have to figure out what to do with my hands so that it doesn't look awkward. Because, like you said, doing this looks awkward, but then just standing there is kind of weird. So, I don't know.
I'm telling you, for me personally, I have to walk. Whenever they tell me stand still, it's like,
Gotta wait for that.
you can't make me stand here.
I can't figure if I've ever given a speech since college.
I do a lot.
So, it's broken down. Introduction.
Did he use a good attention getter?
I don't remember how we started.
I'm going to say that would be no.
He brought up, it was the quote from Jesus, which he comes back to again. It's the quote about Jesus, when Jesus says, if you look with love.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You've already done the
so I feel like he did have a good attention getter, and he came back to it later in the speech.
Okay.
So actually, I would say yes, he did have a good attention getter.
Does that clearly identify his topic?
Yes, it did.
That it did do. Did it establish his credibility?
Oh, I think so. Since he's talking about biblical things, then having a scriptural.
Exactly.
And I would say anything beyond Jesus, really we don't know much about the things that are beyond Jesus. So it came from him. The credibility is pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
And it definitely previous statement leads into the speech. It absolutely did. So.
All right.
So that part I thought was strong. And the conclusion.
Oh, we're jumping right to the conclusion.
Well, yeah, because it was right there, so we can memorable. It was definitely memorable.
Yeah, it was definitely memorable.
You liked my Todd Friel quote about used toilet paper?
Oh, so that was something you actually borrowed from him?
Yeah.
He even gave him credit for it.
Oh, yeah. And Lori said, but I'm gonna, can't remember, retext, like. Okay, so both of those, I think, let's see, the motivation, in between it says the motivation. Attention getter, captured audience interest. I thought there were parts in there where it felt like he was repeating what he had said before. There were a couple really strong points that you made. The part about where things get darker, what was initially shocking to you becomes less shocking.
Actually, I want to say that was, in my opinion, was perfect.
The
part.
perfect part.
Because that is what, whether you're talking to drug addicts or you're talking to, they'll say, well, I do this, but I would never ever be like this and do this. And then the next thing you know, they're doing this. It doesn't take, it's not far. I don't know how many times I've talked to them. Well, I would never shoot up. And no matter what, I would never shoot up. And then when they get into our program, they'll talk about, yeah, and started shooting up, and I said I would never do that.
Right.
But so it is to that. You're right. Once you start with one little thing, well, I don't go there. Then you do.
Well, I'll do, sexual favors for money, but I'll never rob anybody. Well, I'll rob somebody, but I won't do this. They do gradually. And that was, I did think, a very good, strong point. But in between, I felt like there was times where I was like, okay, I think he said that a couple times already. And I don't know if he had the need to have filler. Like, did the speech have to be so long?
No, but I thought those points were important enough that they needed to be reiterated.
And he usually brought someone else in. Like, he would quote one person that's saying it, or one part of the Bible saying it, and then he would quote some other theological speaker that was referring something to the same thing. So he did say the points over, but he was using other sources to emphasize his point.
Yeah, because I wanted to have more sources than last time.
Oh, right, because that was a thing that was brought up last time.
Was it? Right, and it was notable that you did have more sources. You had biblical and outside of biblical. There were was even something, which I noticed, and that was good. So
I will tell you about your visual aids, though. Some of them were wordy, and it's like, what is that? Then it pops away before you really get a chance to figure out exactly what it was. So.
I'll give him the sources, because I felt like it says 3 well-cited, useful sources, and I would say, yeah, he had them.
Where are you seeing? Oh, I see. I didn't have so much a problem with the things that had the little pop-ups that had the words, because I feel like most of the people who would watch something like this would be on YouTube, and I see that a lot, but people assume that because it's not on TV, you can stop it and read it, which is what a lot of people do. But I did feel like a few of the pop-ups didn't quite go, or were a little confusing as to, it wasn't clear. I could see where you were trying to go, the connection, but it wasn't a clear connection. Like the one that was the planning, I think, with the little cartoon things in the boardroom, wasn't super clear as how that pertained.
I don't even remember that one.
That was the neurons. He was
Oh,
talking about the neurons
yeah.
that they go to one thing, and then once they start doing that, then they start to act it out, because now they're thinking about it. Now their thoughts go to the action.
Yeah, that was a good part of the speech too.
It was a good part. My visual that he did that I couldn't figure out was something about, you said something about darkness, and then you showed the woman almost fading into the black of the painting.
Yeah, consumed in darkness.
Yeah, that was a wild.
At first I was, what is?
Well,
So,
Sort of strong
but I get your
like
point,
that.
but when it first came up, I was like, okay.
Mhm.
So, I'm not saying it was bad, and of course, depending on your audience, somebody else might pick up on that a lot faster than me.
Visual, so that's the visualize, that's the bottom. Well chosen and presented minor problems with visual aids.
I think they were still well chosen.
Yeah, I don't know minor problems. I wouldn't even say that they were minor problems.
His credibility was good. Thought you were well prepared. I liked it when you did say, I'm going to paraphrase, or when you kind of indicated you were quoting, that at that point you could see you reading from the paper. Because I think if you're quoting somebody, you want to make sure you get the quote right, so if it's there, you have it to look at.
Right.
Which I think it's an appropriate time to look at your paper. I would even say I liked your pauses. You made a point, and then you would use the paper to kind of make the pause. You'd look down and you'd do this pause, and then you'd come right back. But you could tell that you were actually doing more of a pause than, okay, what am I supposed to say next?
Right.
You could tell that you knew what you were going to say. It was just more of a.
Right.
So I just wanted to say that I thought that was really well done.
That was right on. That I keep contact with the audience. Yeah.
Use of language was good. I didn't hear any other languages except English. That was good. It's important. I don't know any other language. So
It made it easier to understand.
It did. If you started doing Greek or Hebrew, I'd go,
The pauses were good, but he did have, now some people are not bothered by that, really, Ted Cruzy preachy thing, that, but at times it ventured into that, and it does, I cannot listen to Ted Cruz, because even when he's being funny, it comes across as that really preachy, even when he's like, oh, I'm so glad you voted for me, he says, he voted, it was like, that there will be a new tar, I mean, I'm going, just say thank you, you don't have to like totally go into a,
Sounds like if he's in the pulpit.
right, like even, just everything has to be that.
No, I will say, I did get the idea that as we were talking, if you were doing a presentation at a classroom, then it might have been in that preaching. But if you're doing a preaching, and by the subject matter,
it
was kind of in that preachy of a subject matter.
Right,
I don't
and
know
I
if that
did
sounds right,
keep
but
thinking that, well, because what the subject matter is, it actually would go with
right.
that kind of speech.
Yeah, I don't know that I would do that kind of a, but you don't, because when you talked about Costa Rica, you didn't do the,
right.
I'm writing your film, I'm at you now, throwing things at you. It was, and
Which really would have been kind of inappropriate.
And the assignment was to be a persuasive speech too.
Oh, I
so
see, yeah, right. So I could see him.
well, persuasive, and when you're being persuasive, you also have to do, that's a really careful balance.
right.
Because if you're preachy, then a lot of people that don't agree with you go, yeah, whatever then. And they just shut down because you sound preachy. So if you're being persuasive, you want to call them to you to believe what you believe or agree with what you say.
Right.
I don't know that I did get the idea of the preachy, especially when you were almost coming off of your feet, but at the same time, I didn't get it to the point that he was condemning preaching, like this is you See,
Right.
it wasn't the brimstone, whatever that old saying was. Fire and brimstone, that's the saying. It wasn't that. Like, oh, if you do this, you're going to hell. That's it.
Well, I only had 10 minutes, you know, I couldn't go into the whole
You're
hellfire and I couldn't go into the whole descriptions of hell and all that.
But yeah, it definitely got the point. I think he made all the points on it. The destructive quality in your life that it would have, yeah. Yeah, you know what got missed, I think, was the inability to have a healthy relationship. That it would interfere with a healthy relationship.
I would be there. I will say that going back to the boardroom, I like the idea that you took it away from the Bible for that moment and said, well, you know, if you're a non-believer, okay, but here's what science also says.
No, I definitely like
Science,
that.
if you do these things, this is what's going to happen. And that would have been a great opportunity to also say, and with this, you know, you have a difficult time having a regular relationship.
No, I definitely think that's something that should have been.
Right.
That's a
But that did actually add a whole new depth to the speech and made it stronger, and where you actually came out, and it was a good time in the speech because it was far enough into it where it was starting to go on, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, this is new. What's this he's talking? It was an attention getter.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And it goes to that persuasive part. 'Cause I think if you do everything Bible, no matter what it is, you're going to lose some people who just, your non-believers are going to be like, yeah, okay, nice. But if you can draw something in where they can't, and then you take away their argument by saying, well, and scientifically, or, and this person who has nothing to do with religion also has this finding, then they can't really just say, well, that's only because you're a Bible thumper, and therefore you believe that way, but the rest of us don't.
Right.
Where, you know, you're throwing something else out there that, yeah, actually, it's true, it's there. There's enough evidence outside that shows that that's there. It's real.
Yeah. And it's interesting. It's definitely a current topic right now. It's being talked about a lot. That football player came out and admitted that he had a problem.
And the Utah legislature just put through that it's considered a, what did they call it, emergency state of health emergency or whatever.
Yeah, that was cool.
In all places too, you know, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think of that as like the place that would have the biggest problem. You know? So that was a interesting thing.
Actually, doesn't surprise me.
Was it some magazine? Which one was it? Wall Street Journal? What was the magazine? Time magazine. That was it. Yeah, because I was really surprised. Time magazine.
I know, I was really stunned.
Yeah, that this is a problem.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a good choice of a topic because I think it's. Funny face.
I'm trying to think the statistics when I did the training for counseling. Was it 2 years ago now? They said that it was, I don't remember if it was 75 or 80% of youth pastors were into porn.
Oh my God.
Just shocking.
Well, that probably just says what a pervasive problem it is.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I think that it also shows, you know, the history. You know, churches haven't always addressed these things, and without addressing them, you know, it's sometimes easier to hide or makes it where people won't come forward because they think that they're the only one, and they're just going to be,
Ridiculed.
humiliated or whatever, rather than there being a sort of culture of, there being help for them.
Right.
And it's a tough topic. I think a lot of people don't want to talk about it. Which helps it, I think, to stay in the closet.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it was at least somewhat harder. You had to sort of go to a special place, but now really it's available in everybody's house.
Right.
And so it's supposed to be
Well, not only that, and this kind of goes with what you were saying about where it goes from a little and it becomes that bigger and bigger problem. It was that, like you said, is it used to have to go and to a hiding place to do your porn. Now you can go to the public library.
Yeah.
But look at how many strip joints and places that are going up in the middle of a street that has the pizza place next to it. And it's just like, well, aren't they supposed to be in some place that nobody would want to really get caught going to? Not next to the restaurant or next to the family restaurant.
Yeah.
More so. I mean, it's
becoming so normalized too that people used to hide with it, but a lot of people just don't have any shame about it at all. I mean, there's people, they're on an airplane, they're sitting there, with other people, even kids next to them, and watching it, right? You know how airline seats are. You're practically in everybody's lap. It's not like you can hide, and just no shame at all.
Well, I'm glad I have not had that experience.
I mean, either.
I remember one time we were flying back from Las Vegas or something, and the guy in the seat, well, it was too, because the guy in the seat in front of us, I think it was one of those 3-seat ones, and I was sitting in the middle, I want to say, and the guy on the inside row sitting in front of us was looking at the pictures of all the prostitutes that he had taken. No, he had taken on his phone. He had taken pictures of all the prostitutes he had been with on his phone, and he was looking at them, and it was so disgusting. He was licking his phone. I was like, oh! And then the worst thing, though, is that I ran out of chips. And
started licking your hand.
No, I ran out of chips, and I leaned over to, I can't remember which one of you guys, but I leaned over and I was like, I'm out of chips, can I have your chips? And you said I'm out of chips, and he must have overheard, and he goes, oh, it's cool, you can have mine. And I'm like, thanks.
I don't want to touch them.
Did you lick them?
It's like, I'm sure that his hands were probably clean, but before he got on the plane.
Because people that have that kind of stuff are always the most sanitary.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, it was just gross. I was like, you know what, actually I'm not hungry.
Suddenly lost.
Alright, well, thank you guys very much for watching, and thank you for watching.